What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Summer is upon us. Still haven't gone any cons yet. There are a few options coming up that you can, decide for yourself whether you feel it's safe or not. I know a lot of y'all are vaccinated, some of y'all aren't. Or y'all can join a lot of people and just save up your money for a vacation. I've already seen some people already start going on vacation. People didn't hesitate to go live out their Disney or Universal Studios dreams now that, let's be honest, they've been open in Florida at least. They've opened back up in California. Florida has lifted up their mask mandate. So now you can enjoy Disney without a mask. Ew. But anyways, I've seen people do road trips to like states they've wanted to visit, which is cool. If you ever wanted to go to the Grand Canyon or some of these national parks. You have a national park that you would ever want to go to? Like Yosemite or...
All of them?
Like all of them?
There's so many beautiful ones that I couldn't just name off one.
Yeah. People forget about America's natural beauties, as these videos say. And there's a YouTube channel I watched called Mojo Travels, and they be just doing top 10 places to go in America on a road trip, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that existed. The last time I heard about this national park, I was a kid in grade school.
Yeah.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. By now, hopefully you've been saving up money for a vacation since you haven't gone to a real actual con in over a year. Every cosplayer, every con person's must-go-to bucket list location is always Japan. My shirt says Tokyo.
What up, t-shirt reference?
What up, t-shirt reference? Sometimes it's always just Tokyo. I don't think some people know there's more to Japan than just Tokyo. But anyways, that's not what I want to talk about today. Y'all already know the Japan story. Y'all already know why you gotta go. But I want to talk about Thailand. Why? Because so many cosplayers, so many con people sleep on it. When you ask someone their must-go-to travel destinations, Thailand is not even on the top 10. I have no idea why. It's got everything a weeb would love. Starting with, it's cheap. Second, it's really cheap. Another thing is cosplayers like going to cons and buying lots of shit. And cosplayers will buy shit that's overpriced. So you can go to Thailand and just clean up.
Thailand was one of my favorite vacation spots just because of you could buy things for very cheap. And you could get a whole bunch of stuff for very cheap. When I went to Japan, for example, I bought a lot of things just because it was Japan. But I spent a lot of money doing that. But in Thailand, when I saw something, I bought it because it was $1 here, $1 there. And honestly, like, shopping is one of my most favorite things to do when I go somewhere. Renji knows this, he hates it, but I love shopping. And if I'm going to do something like that, I want to spend the least amount of money. And Thailand's the spot.
In Thailand, I didn't even feel bad watching how much money Shana spent because I knew it wasn't going to be much.
Right.
She bought a lot. Now in Japan, and when we went to London and Paris, I was like counting everything she bought. Like, you got enough money for that? Had to treat Shana like a kid. This is all the cash you get today. Once this is gone, you're not allowed to spend money on your credit card. Give me your credit card. You ain't going to mess up your budget today. But in Thailand, I just let her have a free-for-all. It's just like, whatever. It's not going to be that much. We saved so much money on everything else that shopping wasn't a big deal either.
Right.
Not saying we're balling out of control and shit like that. But in Thailand, if that's one of the things you've always wanted to do is have a real, true, stress-free vacation where you're not worried about what you're spending on food, what you're spending on activities and shopping, y'all got to put Thailand on your list. That's why I want to talk about today.
This was definitely a dream vacation I didn't know I needed and didn't know that I wanted either.
Exactly. One of our friends went with us too. He's been wanting to travel with me for a while. Thailand was definitely not on his list. I just brought it up to him one day. Hey, I'm going to Thailand, so you want to go? And he was kind of hesitant. Just like a lot of my friends, their first international trip they wanted was Japan. Well, unfortunately, Japan wasn't in his budget. We had already went to Japan the year before. We wanted to try something else that year. We don't want to go to the same country 2 years in a row just because we want to experience different things. He said the same thing Shana just said. We got back and he was like, damn, I didn't know I was going to like Thailand that much. This was definitely the vacation I didn't even know I needed. He saw so many things for so little money. So starting off any trip, the first thing you got to worry about is flight. unless you want to get on a boat and take 16 years to get there. That's an option too. But I don't know if there's any boat rides from America to Thailand. So y'all going to have to look that one up on your own. So flights. We flew out of California. Once again, I've been doing some price watching. So I kind of know what was the normal price to go from California to Thailand versus what a sale price is.
Mm-hmm.
Best time of year to go, unless you just really enjoy heat, humidity, and rain and want to be punished, is during the winter time. They have opposite seasons from us. They're near the equator, so they only have 2 seasons. It's either hot or hot and rainy. I chose to go during just hot because it's already hot. Who needs to be all wet and rained on at the same time, you know? Best time to travel is probably late November through February. We still saved money because we weren't there during the busy time, which is about January. Our flight left LA the first week of December. It's a long-ass flight. You're not going to be able to do a one-shot. You're going to have to lay over somewhere. You get to choose between Tokyo, Hong Kong, or Singapore. Whichever city you're interested in going to, I would choose that one. We chose Tokyo, obviously, because we got to experience a little bit of Tokyo before we went to Thailand. Unfortunately, our layover was only 5 hours, so we couldn't really do much but just hang out in the airport, take a shower, and take a good poop before we got back on the plane. Just for reference, from LA to Tokyo, it's 13 hours, 12 hours. And then from Tokyo to Bangkok, it's another 6 hours. So depending on how well you travel, you might want to take advantage of that 5 hours to just be comfortable before you get back on a plane. We scored a deal on Air Nippon Airways, one of Japan's greatest airlines. We only paid $550 a person round trip from LA to Bangkok. Usually it's a little bit more. It's about $800 to $900, but we scored a good deal. We bought the tickets in June for a flight in December. Once you get to Thailand, obviously you need a place to stay. Thailand does have Airbnb. I would definitely go that route. Hotels are pretty cheap too. I saw some for like $40 a night, $50 a night, but the Airbnb just gave us a little bit more, so we went that route. For the same price of getting a single hotel room, we got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Like a full-ass apartment, a condo, way bigger than what we got in Japan. In Japan, we got like a studio apartment. In Thailand, we got a whole-ass condo with a doorman and everything. It was great. And the most expensive one was $45 a night. Had a infinity pool on the roof, washer and dryer, a balcony that overlooked the city. It was dope. Like, it was definitely a Instagrammable moment for a lot of people. I could rent this out every day of the month, and it's cheaper than my apartment in California. Makes you not want to go back home.
Right.
So that's just a quick breakdown of what we paid to get there. Of course, the price is going to fluctuate depending on where you live. If you live by a major airport, of course, it's going to be cheaper, but that's just what we paid. The most expensive thing about getting to Thailand for most people is that flight. But once you're there, you're good. All right, so I talked about flights and accommodations. I'm going to throw it to Shana because this is probably her favorite topic and part of every trip, the food.
Oh, yeah. When you go on vacation, the first thing you want to do is try the local food, the things that you don't usually eat when you're back home. This is a big thing out in Thailand because they're pretty much known for their street food and things you can get along the way if you're going somewhere. This was my ultimate time to shine because I love eating all the time, like especially if we're on the go and especially if we're somewhere new. I will walk past something and see it and be like, I want to try that. And then we're always on the go. We're always trying to get somewhere. Usually we're trying to get to some temple or some rock to climb because Renji likes doing that. I'm there for the food and the shopping. So I'm always looking for deals and happy hours, things like that. So the street food really came in clutch in Thailand. It was the best and it was convenient, best of all. Because it was so hot out there, they had things like smoothies and icy cold drinks along the way as well that they whip up right there. It's amazing.
When Shana says street food, I'm sure like a bunch of y'all are just thinking there's some guy on the corner selling hot dogs. There's another guy selling elephant ears, like bullshit from like fairs and carnivals. When Shana says street food, this has a wide range of what it could be. It could just be someone with chicken breast on a stick, like sauté meat, grilled skewered beef. It could also mean a whole-ass bass that came out the sea.
Oh, yeah.
It could mean octopus that's grilled right in front of your face. It could mean lobster. It could mean fried rice and whatever meat you want. These street stalls ain't no joke. Like, these are portable restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people will tell you, don't eat street food in certain countries. Don't eat street food, which is true for the most part. You just have to like judge it for yourself and play it by ear. Not gonna lie, we did keep some Pepto-Bismol tabs on deck just in case, just pop one every day before you start eating, just in case your stomach starts rumbling, and you're good. Then again, watching a lot of Thai travel videos, all the foodie guys are like, Thailand's the one place where you just gotta say screw it and just try it. Yeah, you might poop later, but you're not going to have explosive fire diarrhea. They're like, just trust us. Like, the food is still well prepared. So we experienced food in different setups and locations. We had the street food, literally stalls or carts on the street where they prepared or cooked your food in front of your face. We've had food at night markets. Night market is exactly what it sounds like. It's a market that only pops up at night. They shut down certain streets and there's food and there's shopping. We've had food in a mall food court. We've had food in the tourist traps and restaurants. What was your favorite food and where do we get it from?
My favorite food out of the entire vacation, it had to have been when we finally landed in Phuket. That was our very last stop of the trip. We were right there along Patong Beach, and that's where, the entertainment is, where clubs are, things like that. But then there's the food, though. The food. All the food places are open even after the clubs are closed. So you can, leave the club, go next door, get some food. We happened to find this one place that sold lobsters. Oh, my God. It was the best. The absolute best. That was my favorite. The lobsters.
This place was an outdoor night market that was right by the beach. Just a bunch of stalls outside. Fresh meat, fresh seafood, all right there. It was highly competitive too. And as soon as you walk down the food aisle, people were like, hey, come here. You want some fish? And everyone was trying to just sell you what they could. For some reason, we stumbled upon this one booth. 10 booths later, we stopped at this one. Nice little family. They gave us their sales pitch. For some reason, it felt right. We just wanted to listen to them and hear them out. And then I speak the language. This family happened to be from Chiang Mai. The people in Chiang Mai and the people of the country of Laos, they speak the same language. It's very similar. So I was able to have a great conversation with the owner of the booth. They were super cool. Some of them spoke like a little bit of English. One of the guys that worked there knew some hip-hop references. He kept quoting the song from OT Genesis, I'm in love with the Coco. But he was referring to me being with Shana, Coco girl. Even though that song is not about loving black girls, that song's about loving cocaine. But
I thought it was the other thing.
But he kept saying in the background, I'm in love with the Coco. It took a minute to realize it was him. But it was just that charm of him and the family, and they were just so cool. And they were just like, okay, look, what do you guys want? And then Shana saw them lobsters. She's like, Shana was scared to ask, but the lady saw Shana eyeballing that lobster. She's like, oh, beautiful girl want lobster?
Yeah.
She picked it up, and then she was trying to give us a deal. She's like, okay, usually these sell for this much, but I'm going to give you guys a deal. And I didn't even care what she was going to say because I knew it wasn't going to be ridiculous. It wasn't going to be like in America where you go out for lobster and it's like $30 a person.
Right.
She hooked it up. She was like, okay, you can have both these lobsters for $13. And we're like, wait, what?
Wait, what, huh?
You're going to cook it, right? I'm thinking she's just going to like throw it in the bag and be like, here you go. Just give us the lobster. She's like, yeah. Of course I'm going to cook it. What? You think I'm just going to send you home with a lobster in a bag? Maybe you would have put it in my hand? I don't know. It was cheap. She's like, told you I'd give you a deal. What flavor did we end up getting?
We got two flavors. I don't remember. One was like a Cajun spicy. The other one was more like a sweet. I want to say both of them. I didn't even care. I'm getting 2 lobsters for the price of one. Actually, no. I'm getting 2 lobsters for the price of half of one here in America. Because, those lobsters would have gone for like $30, $40 easily. And these weren't just skimpy lobsters either. These were full-on lobsters that usually would go for way more, but we got a deal, man, and it It was heaven the way that she made it too.
And the lobsters just came straight out the water too.
Yeah.
We're on an island.
Mm-hmm.
These lobsters were freshly caught too.
Yeah, they weren't frozen or anything. The way she cooked it, she took the meat out of the lobster and cooked it however she cooked it with the sauce and whatever flavor we wanted, then put it back in the shell to make it look presentable.
Yeah.
And it didn't even seem like she did that because we're wondering how she got the flavor on all sides of the lobsters. As we're eating it, it's drenched and cooked evenly. And you don't get that here in America unless you specifically order it in like a different kind of way. Usually it's just boiled and you get the little butter dipping sauce and that's it. This was sauteed to perfection.
I was just about to mention that. That was the most impressive part next to the flavor. As Shana said, if you go to any of these seafood places, these crab boils or whatever, hell, go to Red Lobster. They got lobster in the name. You would think like that's what they do best. But a lot of those places, they just boil your shit in a pot or they steam it. And then you're supposed to just drown it in butter. Every seafood boil place I've been to, I've been disappointed. Yeah, if you want to suck on the shells and lick the crab claws, that's where all the flavor is. But once you break into the meat, there's no flavor. Just to emphasize again, this woman took all the lobster meat out, sauteed it, stuffed it back in, made it look pretty. She sliced up the tail in bite-sized pieces too.
Yeah.
And they put it all back in, sealed the tail back up, cooked the outside so the shell was nice and red and cooked too, so it didn't look like a raw lobster anymore. And they brought it back out. And this was a street stall. Like, this is shit Red Lobster needs to be doing.
She just exceeded all of my expectations. Like, I was already down for the cheap lobsters, but the way that she presented it, the way that she cooked it, oh my God.
Imagine going to a con and going to like an artist alley table and ordering lobster. That's how big her booth was. Just a little rinky-dink booth. And then she just went in the back, pulled the shade over her head, and turned on the propane and cooked it right in front of us. And then she came back out with this masterpiece.
I'm like, this is some kind of wizardry. Are you Harry Potter? What?
It was so good. We went back more than once.
Oh, yeah. We had to.
On the outside looking in, it sounds very bougie to y'all that we went back more than once. Out of all the trips we've ever taken, London, Paris, other parts of England, other parts of France, Japan, Tokyo, Osaka, this was the best food I've ever had in my life. In my life. I would have been mad if we didn't go back. Shana was shocked. She's like, really? We're going back again? The second time we went, it was so funny.
Like Renji said earlier, this place it looked like a night market, how they had it set up. So there was like rows and rows of different vendors that were there to sell food. Unfortunately, the place that we went to was smack dab in the middle of everybody else. So you have to get through this one street, going down the aisles of everybody else selling to get to our place. I saw everybody, like, menus ready. It was kind of like a video game. It's like you see the NPCs in the background, like, trying to thwart your plans. So I learned a phrase in Thai, mai pen rai, and that means no or not interested. So we start at the very start of the line. As we're going down, I'm like speed walking because I'm like, nope, I don't want anything. I don't want anything from you. I wasn't trying to be rude or anything. When you go to Thailand, they're always trying to sell you something. They're always trying to, like, barter and talk to you. But I had no time. I was trying to get to the lobsters, man. So I'm just like, mai pen rai. I'm going down this line. And the vendors were just like, what? What? Is this girl dissing us? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to my spot, man. And then I heard some people, like, talking under their breath, well, we have the same things. We have the same stuff over here. Why don't you come over here? And I'm like, you don't understand, man. You don't understand.
Yeah, one dude was talking mad shit. All of a sudden, he could speak good enough English to complain like that because I was right next to him. He's like, what the hell, man? We sell the same shit at every booth. What's the big deal? I was like, whoa. And that's why we're not stopping here.
Exactly. So I was speed walking my little butt to our spot, and the family that was running that booth, when they saw us, their faces lit up so much. We have it caught on camera. When we got there, they saw us and they were just like hugging us and, telling us how happy they were to see us. It was a very magical moment.
They didn't believe us the night before. We were like, this food is so good. We're going to eat here every day until our trip is done. They're like, yeah, right. But when they saw us, they're like, you came back. They like, move some people away from the table. They're like, can you guys sit there? Our VIPs are here. So they cleaned off some tables and let us sit because there was like a group of younger people just sitting around their booth, just like on their phones. But they shooed them away because they were done eating. So they cleaned that shit up for us.
Are you done? Are you done? Can you get up?
We were going out that night too. Shana was wearing this killer dress with titties out and her midriff is cut out, and it was just a banging dress. So on top of her just power walking, she's already being a showstopper. So everyone's already staring at her.
That was my freakum dress.
No, people just thinking she Beyonce or someone just walking down the line. And then when Shana stopped at that booth, you could just hear all the hate. Like, oh, why are they going to go there? What do they got over there that Sweetie can't eat over here? Like, Shana was Nicki Minaj that night. She was Cardi B. She was Sweetie. She was Megan Thee Stallion. Like, these people just called her everything and just like, oh, so she going to go there, huh? And then it didn't help that our friend that was there with us looks like Chris Brown. So, like, he was already getting, like, the Chris Brown love, too, because he's tall, good-looking dude. Like, he had all the Chris Brown vibes down to the tattoos. So people was just looking at that booth like, oh, they got Cardi B and Chris Brown? What the hell they selling over there? Drugs?
Damn.
But, yo, that was so funny. But it was so magical because that family's like, oh, my God, you guys don't know how much you're, like, really helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a slow night, and nobody's wanted to come here. After we ate there, we hung out just drinking some beers and advertising for them, too. Like, anytime anyone that looked American came by, we're like, oh, y'all got to eat here. Y'all got to eat here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just hyping them up. And
Yep.
they loved us.
They really did.
And we loved them. And, yes, we went back the next night.
We went there 3 times.
Yes.
Let me tell y'all some of the hate, though. There's one person that was running a different booth on the opposite side of us. She saw that I had a beer because in Thailand, there's like an open bottle policy. You can, have your beer and have your drinks. I happened to have my beer with me. I had just opened it when we were walking over to this booth, and I didn't want it to spill because I had it kind of in my bag, trying not to bring attention to it, but I didn't have a cap on it or something. It was something where I couldn't have it in my bag for too long. So I just put it on the table. I wasn't drinking it or anything like that. I just had it on the table just so it wouldn't spill. And one of the other vendors came over to the booth and was like, oh, you're not supposed to have that, because I guess in that area, they didn't have the type of beer. It was called Chang. Mm-hmm. It's a Thai beer. They had other Thai beers around that area, but it wasn't Chang. Like they didn't, for some reason, they just did not have Chang there. Mm-hmm. So she sees my bottle and she's like, you can't have that around here. And I'm like, excuse? Mm-hmm. Excuse? And the lady that we were buying from, she's like trying to argue with this lady, like, no, they're with me. Don't worry about it. Like, I got it taken care of. It's okay. This lady's just like, no, you're not supposed to have that. Either throw it away or buy something from us. Mm-hmm. And this lady, did she make me buy a beer from her?
Oh, yeah. She wouldn't stop hounding us because she came back.
Yeah.
She had a sign, too. She had a sign in English saying, no outside beers allowed. Mm-hmm. We will report you. While she was bitching, and Todd's like, bitch, I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I know you're just making up some bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it isn't illegal in this country to have an open bottle.
Right.
Especially on this island, it was just like Vegas. You can just carry beer and alcohol anywhere. But she was trying to get her sales so hard that she brought this sign over and was like, no, you have to buy something from us. The lady that cooked us the lobster was just like, if you guys got the money, just buy a beer from her each so she can just shut up for the rest of the night. She does this all the time. She's the beer booth. That's why. That's her hustle. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have food. She only has beer. Okay. So that's why she's on everyone's ass. And the lady at the booth explained that to me. Those two were talking, and that's what the lady had said. She's like, well, as long as they buy one beer, I'll leave you guys alone since they are buying food from you guys. Mm-hmm. So we all bought one overpriced beer. And I'm like, here, take your funky ass $1.50. In Thailand, beers are super cheap. We bought like a tall bottle, like a 22 ounce. Mm. For those that don't know alcohol sizes, your standard bottle, your standard 6-pack, those are like 8 or 9 ounce bottles. Mm-hmm. We bought a 22 ounce bottle for less than $1 at the 7-Eleven. Mm-hmm. We got like a 3-pack for like $2 and some change or something. This lady was selling beers at her booth for like $2.
Meanwhile, our friend over here, Chris Brown, we're over here having one lobster each, our big prawns, our squid, whatever we ordered that night. We had a whole spread, right?
Soft shell crab. I got that one night too.
Yeah.
Ooh, whole
Bomb.
crab.
Ooh. She made it the same way, by the way. Ooh, so good. Our friend Chris Brown, he's over here eating chicken fried rice. Every single time we stop somewhere, he can't handle shrimp or he has some shellfish issue or whatever. He's not allergic, mind you. He's not allergic. He just doesn't like shrimp or any shellfish of any sort. But that also meant no other kinds of fish, no other kinds of new thing. It's like he might as well have ordered chicken nuggets, you know? Like, he might as well order chicken teriyaki. That's the white thing they'll order.
He did try to order that, but they didn't have it.
He got something that was equivalent to orange chicken. That was like the most different thing he ordered was because otherwise it was just like some chicken fried rice or some kind of fried rice.
Everything revolved around chicken fried rice. Like, dude, there's so much more you can eat. I thought he was not going to eat when we were up in the mountains at that temple because they only had chicken curry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is going to be too spicy for his ass. Because that was like a curry dish, a red curry with chicken and noodles. And we're like, it's not chicken fried rice. He did ask for it, and they didn't have it.
Good. I'm like, good. You can sit here and eat something different because I'm tired of you and your chicken nuggets. Just gets on my nerves. Like, people like that should not go to different countries because it's not fun.
Yeah.
Half of the fun is ordering the food that's from that area in that region, something you can't get in the States. If you're like that and all you eat is chicken and veggies and chicken and rice, like just stay home. Do everybody else in the vacation a favor and just stay home.
Or don't make a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
Don't complain about it. You know, it's like we watched one guy ask if this place that only specializes in chicken curry, the broth is made up of chicken bouillon, fish sauce. Anyways, it's made up of animal juices, right? And other ingredients, and they have to boil chicken it to make the sauce. We was up in the mountains. I'm talking in a mountain because we went to this one temple in Chiang Mai by car from the base of the mountain to the top. It took 20 minutes by car, 25 minutes, and our driver was hauling ass. He had like a little Fast and Furious hatchback, and he was gunning, and he was going like 50 miles per hour, and it was a round mountain. So
I know he was drifting and shit. I'm like, how you know how to drift?
it was so scary, but it was so fun. And he was just like, he's like, I hope you guys don't mind, but I like to drive fast up here because I never get to come up this mountain because a lot of people won't pay me to drive them up there. And this dude just holding on to his bucket seats. Yes, and he had bucket seats because his car was totally Fast and Furious out. It wasn't just for looks. That car was hauling ass. You can hear the turbo shooting off. Just
Nos.
yeah, we're like, this is so fun but so scary. He took us to the top of the mountain, and it's a real temple. It's not like a tourist attraction. It's a real place of worship, and you can walk the trails to a village that people don't have electricity. Like, it's a real ass place. So they only have a few places to eat. You know, they got a few food stalls, but the place we went specialized in the local city's curry. This city invented this curry dish called khao soi, and this place, that's all they served. That was their specialty. This one backpacking dude walks up to them, and he's asking for a very specific vegan meal. The owner's like, we only have curry with chicken. And the guy was asking all these specific questions and trying to make a custom request like he was at Starbucks.
He pretty much went up to this really nice older man that was just up there minding his own damn business, making khao soi and his curry. And he's like, do you have anything that doesn't have rice, chicken, meat of any sort, no milk, no eggs? No. And he's just like, no. Can you get off my mountain now? Go. Just go. Just go. He didn't say that, but I was saying that for him. I'm like, can you get off this man's mountain? Can you go somewhere else, please? Go to McDonald's or something.
He was super polite about it, but the guy still kept arguing. What do you mean you don't have a vegan option? And then this man probably doesn't even know what the word vegan means. He just understands the guy wants no this, no this, no that. And the guy tried to explain to him in the best English he could, I have to cook it with these ingredients or else it's not the dish. And this dude literally was frustrated as hell. And I thought he was about to bust out his phone, even though they got no reception up there, and do a Yelp review about a man in the mountain. And then the rest of his party got there, and he's just like, come on, guys. They don't have any options for us. Shana over there like, I got a foot for your ass.
You want this foot?
That's vegan friendly up in these streets.
I even turned around, looked at them, gave him a dirty look, and just laughed at the top of my lungs like, oh my God, get out of here.
Yeah. But then the old man came and talked to the tables, and like he was on some slick shit. He was funny. He's like, I have water. Does he want to buy water? But like, you know, he said that in our language. So like only a few of us understood what he was saying. And then the guy just shook his head. So we kind of like reassured and talked to him, just like, yeah, that's going to happen. He's like, I know, but I'm in a mountain. What am I supposed to do?
I'm sorry, we don't grow salad up here.
Do you see Trader Joe's? I don't even know anyone named Joe. No, he didn't say any of that, but I wish he did.
I wish he did.
It's not that these people from these countries don't care about your dietary needs. They just can't accommodate you. So that's why Shana was saying, if you are very strict on what you can eat.
In a mountain, though, like, you know where you're going. If you know you spent an hour and a half to get up this damn mountain, chances are they're not going to have anything milkless, eggless, meatless. You know, like, they're not going to have that up there. That's all they have up there.
Yep.
They get what they get.
That's what I warn my friend too. Some of the places we're going, they may not have all the things you like to eat. So you better bring some chips or protein bars with you or something, because we going to some places that we lucky they got electricity.
There was this one mountain we did go up when we were in Phuket, and it was our last mountain of the whole trip, thank goodness. But this specific mountain did cater more to Americans and picky eaters, because I mean, they just happened to have this one little stand, someone selling ramen noodles and chips and things that you would have seen like back in Bangkok or, you know, tourist traps. You know what? I know why they have that, because a guy's like the guy looking for vegan options. It's like, he probably wouldn't have ate it, you know, even still, but it's still there. At least they think about these people and they have these people in mind. It's just not everywhere, because the one that we're talking about was, it was very sacred to the area, because they had villages and tribes of people that weren't a part of the normal everyday civilization. They had their own thing up in the mountains, and it was truly an honor to be up there and to be amongst them. So don't blame them for not having things that you're used to or things that you're familiar with, because those people didn't, like Renji said, didn't even have electricity. So why would they have a bag of Pringles for you, you know?
Yeah. That temple we went to, the land up there was shared with the natives. These were the original people. They still lived untouched and unbothered by modern society. They just recently opened up a tour through their village because they wanted to generate money to just do some repairs on the village and stuff like that.
And honestly, some of the locals, like the Buddhist monks that were up there, they were used to a certain kind of, I guess, peace, because I witnessed somebody trying to bring their shoes into one of the temples, and one of the monks just lost his shit. Like, he lost his marbles. He was just up there like, no, get out of here. And that's not their nature. They're not mean. They're mostly quiet. You don't ever hear a monk speak. I just felt like he just had enough, because there were just so many tourists up there, and I feel like that place wasn't always a touristy place. I feel like these people were just up there and open up their homes and open up their area for people to come through.
This was a real temple. It was an actual sacred place to the people of Thailand. They just happened to open it up to tourists so they can generate money for the city and the monks. Just a quick side note about all that. The citizens of the Kingdom of Thailand, they take their religion and their king really seriously. Just to give you all an example of how serious and how respectful it is, on the way up towards this temple, they have shrines along the road. It may be a shrine to Buddha, or it may be a picture of the king. Our driver, he did not miss a beat. Every picture, every shrine he saw of either Buddha or the king, he bowed his head and put his hand up in prayer formation the best he could with one hand on the steering wheel for every shrine and paid his respects. He did not skip a beat at all. And it took me a minute to notice, but then I started just turning around and looking. I'm like, this dude is catching every Buddha or every king that's on the road. I started noticing that with all the drivers. Every taxi we got in, they did the exact same thing, no matter how many there were on the road. It was like, wow, like these people aren't playing when it comes to religion and their king.
So unlike here in the U.S., Thai people love and respect their king. They even tell people right away, tourist people, anyone who comes through, they're like, hey, do not disrespect our king. I think they arrest you or some shit.
Oh, yeah, it's a crime.
Yeah, it's a crime.
It's a crime, or someone would just beat your ass on sight.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how much they love their king, because he's taking care of this country. When the last king died, there was such a major funeral and the whole country shut down. People came out from all parts of the country to pay their respect to their fallen king. One of the cab drivers, even though I didn't even ask, he just went down a whole lecture of just explaining to me what the king means to the people. Unlike the Queen of England that does nothing and she's just a celebrity for the most part, going back to visiting the temples and stuff like that, and even like the royal palace, they got strict guidelines. You got to dress a certain way because you have to show the respect. It's pretty much no shoulders and no knees. So you can either just wear pants, or you can wear like long shorts, but you can't show your knees and shoulders, and they definitely will turn you away. They won't let you in. You could have bought a ticket online and they'll be like, sorry. Some of the places do keep tourists in mind, and they will have like loner shirts or something you can wrap around your shoulders and stuff like that. But most places would just turn you away.
It really baffled me, the amount of people who weren't Thai, all the foreigners to the country, who flocked to this place and was still showing up by the drones in booty shorts and tank tops, spaghetti straps. This one lady I even saw had a bikini top on. Like, you just came fresh off the beach and decided you wanted to be here at this sacred temple where the king of Thailand lives. And you just want to show up in your flip-flops and bikini tops and your booty short. What goes on in your head? You know this is Thailand, right? You can't go to any temple along any countryside, anywhere. You can't go anywhere to these temples and just show up looking like that. You know, it's not a thing only specifically to this place. You know, they have signs everywhere that say, hey, even on the websites, it says, hey, you cannot show up looking like this. And then they have pictures for you in case you don't speak the language. Pictures, okay? And people still show up looking like that.
Pictures by the entrances.
Yeah.
That say no shoulders, no knees.
And if you still, for some reason, don't get it, there's a woman, a nice, sweet woman right outside the gates selling pants and shirts that are long enough for you to get in to this temple. And people were still just like, oh, the amount of people, man. I didn't understand it.
I did.
I did not understand that.
I did. Because, like, a lot of these people that travel through Thailand and Southeast Asia, like, for lack of better words, they're like these hippie backpackers, and they just think they can just live free and do whatever they want. They're from America. They know their rights. Bitch, your American rights don't mean shit in Thailand.
There's no rights here. Not for you.
That government can issue a hit, and you can end up in the ground.
Yes, and they should.
Thailand is a monarchy. It's not a democracy like the U.S. or the U.K. or whatnot. This country is run by a king. If the king don't like that you farted in his royal banquet room and he heard about it and you still in his country, when you try to get back on the plane, they're going to catch you and detain you before they put you back on the plane. Because Thailand does something interesting that I've never seen another country do. They make you scan your fingerprints and do facial recognition on your way out too, because they want to make sure whoever came in also left. Or in case you did something stupid, that's their last chance to catch you before you leave the country.
Oh, yeah.
So they look you up and make sure you didn't get arrested while you were there. They ain't playing around. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, you cannot get away with foolery in the country of Thailand. You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, people forget that Thailand is a third world country. Bangkok's pretty modernized, but the rest of it is not.
Yeah, they've been through enough. Like, they don't need you coming from wherever and just messing everything up.
Living your nomad dreams.
Yeah.
And I get to do what I want. Yes, you can. but then be prepared to go missing.
Bangkok has them now. Mwah.
Oh, yeah. If y'all ever watch Hangover 2, Bangkok has them now. And that shit ain't no joke either.
And that's the thing, too, is like you ask anybody and they're just like, yeah, they're never going to be seen again. Mm-hmm. And they even laugh it off like, you know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Not in Bangkok. You don't win nothing.
You don't win shit.
You play
just
stupid
go
games, you go missing.
Black market.
Yes.
Stamp.
People would be scared to go now. Way to go, Renji and Shana. I was rocking with you. Lobsters, temples, cheap food, cheap shopping. Go missing.
Just don't be stupid.
I ain't going no more.
Just don't be stupid. That's it. If you cannot contain yourself for a vacation, if you know you're like that, then don't go. You know, like, we don't want to see you go missing. But if you do that shit in Thailand, they don't tolerate that shit. So stop being dumb. Just stop for 1 week. That's it. If you can go a week without being dumb, then you're good.
I just realized that I didn't even really break down our trip. We just started talking about food and went on a whole ass food tangent and being up in the mountains. We split our trip up into 3 cities: Bangkok, Chiang Mai, and Phuket. For any first-time travelers to Thailand, one of those 3 will be your usual go-to places. They're the most touristy areas. Bangkok is the modern city. You get to like downtown Bangkok, it feels like you're in New York, LA. It's pretty modern. They have big malls and big buildings and shops like that. The only way you see like a non-modern Bangkok is when you look towards the slums and where like people are struggling and still living in third world country shacks. But for the most part, Bangkok was just an easy tourist place. They got taxis everywhere. They got their version of Uber and Lyft called Grab. But the interesting thing about Grab is you can also call someone on a scooter to come pick your ass up. We were not brave enough to jump on the back of a moped or a scooter with someone. The scooters were super cheap. It was like less than $1 to get to most places. Because there was 3 of us, Ubers and Lyfts weren't that much more expensive either. We could just split. Hell, even cabs weren't that expensive, really. The cabs may be expensive for Thailand dollars. $1 American dollar equals about 32 Thai baht. $1 American dollar is 32 Thai monies. That goes a long ass way. Just to experience how Bangkok people got around, we used the train a lot. That train got super packed. No room to sit down most of the time. But it's how you beat traffic. So we used the train, super easy to get around. If you've ever been to any major city, it's the same deal. Buy yourself a little train card, put some money on it, tap in, tap out, whatever. Or buy train tokens. Easy, simple to use. Only thing to keep in mind is priority seating. If a monk gets on the train, you need to get your ass up and give up your seat. The monks have the highest priority. Then comes the elderly and pregnant women. So I'm sorry, if you old and pregnant, you better leave for a monk because he's the most important person on that train. And yes, you do catch some monks on the train because monks do have to get back and forth.
If you love shopping like I do, you know I'm here for the fashion. I say that all the time. But if you love shopping like I do, the best place to start is in Bangkok. You will find name brand things. Now, half of that stuff, I don't know if it's real or not, but a lot of the stuff is. And they're like half off Balenciaga, half off Gucci, half off Margiela, anything. Like, you could find anything in Bangkok.
That's where you'll get the biggest range from bootleg to name brand.
Yeah.
All the other cities just have like touristy stuff.
Oh, yeah. So you'll find a lot of that, especially in Bangkok. And you go to the different malls and the different stands, you'll find a lot of rare finds and a lot of good things. I even bought Supreme. Like, I don't even care about Supreme, but I just bought it because it was half off and it was there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in Thailand right now. Like, I'm going to get the things over here that I can't get anywhere else.
I got a couple Supreme t-shirts too. If you guys watch the YouTube version of the podcast and you actually look at some of my shirts I wear, I have one shirt that's like a Naruto shirt and it's Supreme, and I have a one-piece Luffy shirt that's Supreme too. Those Supreme shirts were about 200 baht each. So 200 divided by 30, it was like $7 per shirt. But that was because it was Supreme.
Yeah.
A regular ass t-shirt, I got it for 100 baht. It was like $3.
For me, because I love shopping and I love designer things and I love designer everything. It was just a dream come true. I was in heaven.
Some shops will even ask you, do you want the real Fendi or the fake?
Yeah.
Because they got them both.
They know what's up. And that's what I love about it. There's no like beating around the bush, nothing. It's just, do you want this or that? And I'm like, you know what? Show me what you got, though. Just show me everything. I've never been anywhere where they have it like that. And when you get there, you want to just delve into everything.
This wasn't at like the night market where people are selling stuff in stands. This was at one of their most popular malls.
Mm-hmm.
We went to 2 different malls in Bangkok. There was that mall, and then there's the bougie mall.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mall that sells Ferraris and shit like that. Like total 9-day difference. One mall, cheap ass stuff, but then the other mall, super bougie. Just nothing but Burberry and high-end fashion with high-end fashion prices.
Oh, and they definitely didn't ask you if you want the real or fake over there.
No.
That was strictly real, and strictly the high-end prices.
Yeah, high-end American prices.
Yeah.
That's how you knew it was the real thing, because they weren't giving you a Thailand discount. This was whatever it would cost in America, maybe minus like $10.
Oh, but guess what? This mall, though, this bougie mall, had the only Taco Bell that I had ever seen in Thailand. Like, they had the one Taco Bell. I'm like, okay, everything else is bougie, and they had a KFC, and they had a Wendy's too. I'm like, what is going on in here?
No, that's true. That was the only time we saw Taco Bell in the entire country.
I remember seeing a Wendy's in Tokyo, and I'm like, Wendy's? Are you serious? It even had an authenticity mark on it that said, the very first Wendy's in Tokyo. I'm like, I found the jackpot.
I was confused at first. I'm like, the first Wendy's? You mean Dave Thomas and Wendy's were Japanese?
That Wendy's was surrounded by ramen spots all around it. I'm just like, the one Wendy's out of nowhere is here.
It took me a second to think like, oh, this is the first Wendy's in Japan.
Yeah.
Not the first actual Wendy's.
I'm like, this has to be a mistake. Oh my God. But anyways,
Thailand ain't got a bunch of them fast food spots, so don't be looking for Taco Bells. Because that was the only Taco Bell, we had to try it. Like, we were curious. Also, a thing that we like to do when we travel to other countries, try their McDonald's or Taco Bell just to compare it, because either they have like exotic menu items that we don't have here in the States, or the quality of meat's different.
Yeah.
When we went to London, because they have more strict rules about beef and chicken and just how they get their meat, because they don't like pump it full of chemicals. That one night where Shana and I were drunk off our ass and ordered like $50 in McDonald's for us two, the food was like amazing.
And I couldn't stop eating it. It was so much food. We got like 2 20 pieces. I got a double quarter pounder, whatever, and you got like a Big Mac, a triple Big Mac, whatever special thing that they had there, and we just had a spread.
The guy was looking at us like, what's wrong with you guys?
Like, it's just you two? That's it?
He kept giving us that look because we didn't know what we wanted. We're just like, oh, so there's a 20-piece? Okay, give me the 20-piece. And
make it 2.
And then he kept asking us, did we want the meal? We're like, what? We kept saying combo. Over there, they say meal. The 20-piece meal. And us being drunk, well, yeah, meal. So that's why we got so much food, because he kept asking the meal. We're like, yeah. And then it didn't dawn on me until we got back to the room. And then I looked at the receipt, like, we kept ordering combos. Like, that's why this bill racked up. I'm just like, that explains why we got 4 large drinks and fries and shit. He was also confused because most people use the touchscreen in London.
It's like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah,
right
he
now?
was like, can I help you?
You need the bathroom key? Like,
Yeah, he was so confused, and we
were like,
anyways, that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about London on another podcast if y'all want to hear about our London and Europe trip. But
that was a bag of fun.
But anyways, Thailand didn't have that.
Anyways, well, we did go to the McDonald's there, and the eggs were fire.
Yeah.
I hate McDonald's eggs because they don't put seasoning in it. I mean, this place didn't either, but the quality of egg it tasted so so good and so fresh.
Yeah. And that's the one thing you'll notice if you go to other countries, just how their meat tastes. Our food has so many chemicals, it's pretty scary and gross when you really break down how processed our meat is. In other countries, you taste meat for what it is. And that's what we loved about being anywhere. Like, we tried the burgers at McDonald's in London. We tried burgers in the McDonald's in Japan and in Thailand, and night and day difference between what it tastes like in America. So the best example I could probably give, compare a burger from like an Applebee's or a TGI Fridays with McDonald's. You can clearly tell the difference. A fast food burger overseas to us tasted like an Applebee's burger here. And that's kind of sad.
But anyways, back to shopping.
Back to shopping, yes. Bangkok is where you want to go because, fun fact, if you look at half the shit that you buy, it's either made in China or in Thailand. And that's why it's so cheap in Bangkok, because that's where it comes from.
I bought a lot of stuff. I can't even remember what I even bought, but like I just kept buying it because it was so cheap. Most of the stuff was really high quality things as well. I walked away with like discounts over discounts over discounts, and I didn't even haggle at all.
Yeah.
Not one time.
And you could haggle for even more, but I felt kind of bad about that because we're already spending American dollars. American dollars stretch so far in a country like Thailand. These people are already selling graphic T-shirts like what Shana and I are wearing. Like, okay, so I'm wearing this shirt, right, that just says Tokyo. Because I like the colors, I actually paid $15 for just this T-shirt. It's just a T-shirt. There's nothing fancy about it. Like, this shirt was actually printed on like a Fruit of the Looms T-shirt because the tag said Fruit of the Looms.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even their brand shirt. So anyways, I could get the same T-shirt in Thailand for $3 American. And that's without haggling. Shauna's got this graphic tee that has
Well, this is a lot going on. This is Naruto Shippuden shirt.
Naruto versus Sasuke, multiple colors. That's similar to the Supreme shirt I bought. And even that, I got it for less than $10 a shirt. And it was quote unquote Supreme brand. The same mall I was just at, I walked past a booth that sold Supreme t-shirts. And they were like $25 for the same t-shirts I paid $7-8 for in Thailand. And it's the same quality too. But with that though, the tag actually said Supreme. It didn't say Fruit of the Looms or Hanes. They didn't just print it themselves like this shirt right here.
Right.
Definitely where you want to shop because you're not going to find a better deal and a better variety of stuff.
Especially if you're someone who likes name brands. You won't just buy anything. I get it. But that's really the only place you're going to find that kind of thing.
So we went to the Chatuchak weekend market, and that was crazy insane because that's like thousands of stores across like this fairgrounds worth of shops.
That one was cool because they had different things. Like you could get a tattoo over here. I just got the henna. I didn't go for a full blown tattoo because you can't go to no ocean with a fresh tattoo. But you could get a tattoo. You can buy an exotic animal. You can buy a T-shirt. You can buy some ice cream. You could buy some food or whatever, and you go across the way and buy some shoes.
You can get a massage.
You can have, speaking of massage, you can get those, you can put your feet in the fish tanks and those little fish that take off the dead skin on your feet. I saw a lot of those. I didn't try it though, because that's, I don't know. I don't want to do it, but they had a bunch of those. You could buy whatever crazy animal you wanted to buy. You could buy anything at these places. The more you walked around and the more you looked at things, it's like you felt like you're in an episode of Jumanji. Like you could do anything and see everything, and it's just like, wow, that's a lot of things.
We never did see the exotic animals. We were looking for it. That place is huge. It's like a labyrinth. Because they have some shops outside on the perimeter, but then they have some shops inside, but it's a maze. You're going from one hallway to the next, and it's shop after shop after shop. Like, they're right next door to each other, but they're indoors, and sometimes you get lost because there's just signs every once in a while.
I almost did get lost because when you're walking outside along the perimeter, you can go inside a building, but you go down to get in. So you're like imagine walking straight like around the perimeter of the night market, and then you get sidetracked because there's like things happening underneath the ground, and like you go underneath and go underneath this building or whatever. You look around there, you pop out the other side of that, and then you go around the other side of the perimeter. Then you see something popping upstairs, and then you go upstairs and you look around and and then you go back downstairs, and then it's like, wait, where was I going?
Yep.
What was I doing? That was the first time that we ever saw somebody selling margaritas because they don't really have tequila in Asia in general, but we happen to see this person selling margaritas, and we're like, tequila. They did not make the margaritas like, how traditionally you would make them, but like we did not care. We're like, you know what? This is the first time I'm seeing tequila in this whole country. So we're like walking around with our little margaritas, and like I was getting henna tattoos. Like Renji walked away for 5 minutes. I'm over here like sitting at one of the booths, like getting tatted up with one of the henna things, and he's like, I literally just walked away, and I had a hot dog in my hand, and like I had bought like 20 t-shirts. It's been 5 minutes.
Yeah. Cannot leave Shana alone with money in her hand. That's why I have to give her money like a child for the day.
But it was so cheap.
You spend all this, you're done.
It was so cheap.
I have to lay out the plans for her. I have to tell her what points there are money spending points. I'm like, we're going to go here. That's time for shopping. Then we're going to go here. That's food time. Just so she can start pacing it out in her head. Okay, I need to save some money. And dude, like I have to give her an itinerary and a menu.
He walked away again. I was like, I had a full plate of food watching the drag show. I'm like, yes. And he comes back like, I just went to the bathroom, and now you have a whole plate of food watching this show.
Right before we're about to have dinner. What? I'll be hungry again.
I was. We did so much walking, and the combination of it being hot and you're sweating and you've been walking around. I lost a lot of weight, okay? I was famished the entire trip.
As Shana just said, we were in that night market, and we had just split up for a second to just kind of look at what foods we want. Mm-hmm. There were so many stalls that it would have taken too long for us to just to walk side by side. So we finally split up. I came across a stand that was like super cheap, and that's why I ended up getting the gator meat. It was like 100 baht per skewer. 100 baht, like I said, it's about like $2 and some change, almost $3. And I was just like, okay, give me the gator, give me the chicken, give me the beef. I don't even know what animal that is, but give me that too. And I just had a whole handful full of skewers, looking like Wolverine with meat on my fingers. Like, yeah, I'm Meat Wolverine. And there was so much meat on the skewers that I had a hard time finishing all of it. After I got my meat, I saw Shana, and y'all know what she did while I turned around for 5 minutes. But then Chris Brown had a bowl of fried rice.
Again.
And a beer. Like, ugh.
Just stay home next
Slap
time.
the shit out of you. But it was great times at the night market. Definitely something that you have to indulge in because it's part of the culture. You got to get that stigma of street food out your head in Thailand, or else you're not going to enjoy what half there is to enjoy at night. Night markets are a thing. Shopping, eating, and drinking at night, because during the midday, it's too damn hot to do this shit. Wow, we've been talking about Thailand and just Bangkok for a long time. This is just the tip of the iceberg for our journey in Thailand. I hope y'all enjoying it. I hope y'all really considering going to Thailand, if not on your next vacation, but definitely put it on your bucket list. We've barely even scratched the surface of what we did, what we experienced. We just talked about shopping and food in Thailand. We haven't even specifically broke down some of the adventures we went on, the fights that Shana got in. Like, it's, ooh.
Only one.
Ooh.
One.
It's a whole journey. It's not a Renji and Shana vacation unless someone fights, passes out, or something happens.
Or they get hurt.
Yeah, there's always something that's happening in our trips. But you know what? Though they were reckless at the time, they make for fun stories later.
But did you die? No.
Mr. Chow hangover. But did you die? No, you didn't. And here we are. So if y'all want to hear some more of these Thailand adventures, then stay tuned because we definitely got some more to talk about. Real quick, it's time for those promotional plugs. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Shana just started a new Instagram page.
I did, and this is where I'm going to be posting my sexy content, my lewd content as well. This is the stuff that's not just going to be cosplay. It's not just going to be my normal, regular, schlegular stuff that I put on my Instagram that you guys are probably already following, but this is for if you wanted to see more content that I'm putting out there, more spicy content. So go ahead and give Shana underscore Mostella a follow if that's your thing. And it's there. It's square, and we ain't going nowhere. So
Bars. Yeah, definitely give Shauna's new page a follow just because so many people follow you for cosplay and then they get so mad when you post anything else. Then they'll start reporting your images. They'll start unfollowing you. And it's just like, why? Do you only support these costumes or do you support me as a creator? So Shauna's just done dealing with that stress. She's like, you know what? Just let me start a new page where I can post whatever I want. Because obviously you guys that have been watching the podcast, y'all know we do more than just cosplay. So why can't we just post our shit without being villainized for it? Honestly, I'm about to start a new Instagram as well just because Instagram algorithms have been screwing me over because my Instagram page kind of started with me posting clips from my cosplay music videos. And it's funny to see that people don't even know I cosplay. People see me post cosplays on my Instagram, but they still think it's someone else. Like most of my followers came from my videos and they don't even know what my face looks like. And it's sad. Anyways, be on the lookout for that. And one last note, make sure y'all follow us on Twitch because we be live streaming. So all the links are below or just look up on Twitch, fanservice underscore Renji, Shana underscore Mostella, and you'll find us. Make sure y'all check that out. With all that said, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fanservice Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Go to Thailand. Bye.
Go to Thailand. Bye.